What is up, my friends? We are back with today's Anfield Agenda news roundup. The good news is I will be back tonight at 9 p.m. for the late night agenda. I'm going to let you guys watch the Newcastle-Barcelona first half in peace, but we'll also have an episode of the Anfield Agenda podcast coming out tonight at 11 p.m. for everybody. So make sure that you do check that one out. It'll be myself, Chris and Steve discussing last night's game, looking ahead to the Merseyside derby, and of course talking about a few other bits and pieces. Today we're going to be discussing, well, the allegations against Atletico Madrid staff. I know that Simeone tried to make out like Liverpool fans were abusing him, but there's only one side who's been accused of something disgusting. We're going to talk about a big claim from Julian Alvarez's camp about a move to Liverpool. We're going to give you the very latest on the situations with Liverpool's Jeremy Frimpong and his thoughts on Florian Wirtz and a couple of other bits and pieces that we hope will keep you right up to date. The most important part of this video is going to be the conversation around EKITIKE and Isak, and that is where I would love to know your thoughts as we go through the video. Right, lots to get through, so let's get stuck in. The Mirror have said that Julian Alvarez representative have insisted that Liverpool did submit a bid for the Atletico Madrid striker during the transfer window. Now, I don't know if this is mind games because we played Atletico or if it's true. What we do know is Liverpool did admire Julian Alvarez. We tried to sign him when he was at Manchester City before he went to Atletico. So no big surprises, but interesting to see that they claim an offer was made. Not a potential offer. They said an offer was made to sign him. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Right. So, Jeremy Frimpong's been speaking about his mate Florian Wirtz, who I think had his best game so far in a Liverpool shirt last night. This is what he has had to say. He's just getting started. I spent 4 years with him at Leverkusen. I know what he can do. I'm seeing that it's coming. There is a lot more to come from him. And loads of people that we discussed last night on the stream and afterwards were agreeing that was his best game in the Liverpool shirt. You could see what Wirtz was about. It was all coming together, and he was just one or two little bobbles of a ball or mistimed passes away from either getting his first goal or setting up another goal. So let me know your thoughts on Florian Wirtz's performance, and are you looking forward to what is to come from him, because he's going to be a superstar. I've no doubts about it. Now, Paul Joyce said that UEFA are set to investigate allegations that a member of the Atletico Madrid backroom staff spat at a Liverpool supporter during a row near the end of Wednesday's Champions League tie. To give you more context, it was after we scored the winner. Virgil van Dijk towered, buried the header. Simeone lost the plot on the sideline, having a pop at Liverpool fans, whom he said gave him the middle finger, but spitting. Now, this isn't aimed at Diego Simeone. One of the backroom staff has been accused of spitting at the Liverpool fans. Classless is the word that I would use, but let me know what your thoughts are on this. Now, we have to say allegation because they haven't been charged yet and nothing has been proven, but it is, well, a serious allegation to have against you. Right, let's talk about Jamie Carragher speaking about Isak. This is what Carragher had to say on Liverpool's new number 9. You know what? He didn't score, but he had plenty of lovely touches. When the ball comes into him, you see the way he turns there. He's really clever. Thierry Henry knows better than anybody. He's not just a goal scorer. That's why he's different to Haaland. Haaland's all about goals. He's doing fantastic things, turning, getting on the ball. He's a fantastic player, not just a great goal scorer. So, Carragher, who, to be fair, like many of us, thought the price tag was probably a little bit high, glowing in his praise there of Alexander Isak, and it was lovely to see Isak get his first minutes in the Liverpool shirt last night. I agree with Carragher. I've seen plenty of good things there to let us know that when that match sharpness comes in, we really do have a top-notch number 9 on our hands. Now, Lewis Steele has been speaking about concerns over Galatasaray's pitch ahead of our game against them. This is what he's written. There were big concerns about the safety of the pitch at Galatasaray's Rams Park ahead of Liverpool's visit to Istanbul later this month. Seawater has apparently been mixed into the grass irrigation system at the stadium, which could cause Arne Slot's team some headaches. Now look, I ain't a groundsman. I don't know what seawater does to a football pitch, but I know it shouldn't be in the irrigation system. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one. But Galatasaray's president and the Turkish football president, well, they've been about Liverpool, so let's wait and see what the result shows. But let's go over there and teach them a lesson, right? We are the Reds for a reason. We are European royalty, and most importantly, We're the defending Premier League champions. Lewis Steele said that Curtis Jones is in line to be in the squad for the Merseyside derby on Saturday, which is good news. We know he returned to training, so that is a good boost for Arne Slot there ahead of the game. You always want a bit of local blood in there for this one, so Curtis Jones should be available for selection for the weekend. Whether he starts or not, of course, that is the manager's decision. Now, we heard from Jamie Carragher about about Alexander Isak. Now, let's hear from the gaffer. He said, I was positively surprised how fit he was during the 60 minutes, but that probably tells you that it might be different to sign a 20-year-old from a different league or a 25 or 26-year-old that is used to playing in this league. Although he only trained for 2 weeks, he has so many games under his belt, he's probably more able and ready to do 60. Yes, a good start, only 60 minutes. Now we have to build him up from here. But I can tell you, he's not going to play 90 again on Saturday. I can tell David Moyes, or you can tell David Moyes, that he's not going to play 90 on Saturday. Didn't say he's not going to play, didn't say he's not going to start, just said he's not going to play 90. Now, to tie all of this together, Julien Laurens, who is a very good football pundit and journalist, has been speaking about Hugo Ekitike and Isak, and this is what he's had to say. I think you'll find it interesting. I really don't think that Hugo Ekitike would have signed for Liverpool if he'd known they'd also sign Isak. So no. We knew that as soon as Isak was fit, that one was to be dropped, whether it was Ekitike or not. It was just very clear. Can they play together? Of course they can. You could play Ekitike from the start off the left, but that's not really his position. So it kind of got me thinking, what is going to happen here? Is it going to be one or the other, or do you think there is a way that we can get both in the team? As Julian said, maybe Ekitike off the left, that's not his natural position, but he did look to me when he was on the pitch like he was somebody that enjoys setting up moments as well. You could see Ekitike dropping deep, trying to link up play, whereas Isak was always on the shoulder trying to get in behind. So there is differences to the way that they play, and I've no doubt that Arne will look to find a way. But most importantly, for us, it is about having a variation of attack, a variation of options for the manager, and of course, having two strikers that can play in different positions as well will give Arne some tactical versatility. So I think there is a way that we can play both, but I'm not expecting it to be something we do week in and week out. I do want to know your thoughts on it though. So Arne Slot has also been speaking a little bit about missing out on Mark Gay, and this is what he said here. For us, it was of course a disappointment. For the player, I assume as well, because he was expecting to come to us. But if a player wants a transfer that he doesn't get, then you always feel for him. If it's a player of my team, you talk to him, you make sure he gets his energy back, and he keeps going again. That's probably what happened at Palace with Mark Gay. Hopefully, Liverpool do go back in and get him on a free transfer at the end of the season, or maybe even make a play in January. I have to say, though, give full credit to Canade again. I thought it was a very good performance from him alongside Virgil van Dijk, and the last 3 games, he's looked solid and focused. So here's hoping for more of that. Now, before we finish up, a little word from Cara on Virgil van Dijk and quite how good he is as a centre-back. He said, at Liverpool, a lot of people get called legends because they've won the league or they've won a Champions League. But if you want to differentiate between them, I'd call them giants of the club. And I'm talking about Stevie, Kenny Dalglish, Souness, Alan Hansen, John Barnes, Mo Salah. Van Dijk is there without a doubt. Now look, it's difficult, isn't it, to compare and contrast different eras, but for me, Virgil van Dijk stands as one of the greatest of my lifetime to do it at centre-back, and certainly top 3 all-time in the Premier League. But where would you rank the great man amongst the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, John Terry, Carvalho, all these players that came before him, Sol Campbell? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. For me, like I said, I think he's up there top 3 of any era. So that is it for me for now, ladies and gents, but we covered a lot over this video. Let me know your thoughts on Julien Laurens' belief that maybe we wouldn't have signed Hugo Ekitike if he knew Isak was coming in. I think he probably did know, to be honest. I think he knew when we signed him that we were still going to go in for Isak. So would Liverpool have signed him if we got Isak first? That much I don't know. And maybe that's where Julien Laurens was going with it. But for me, I'm happy we have both. Newcastle fans thought they were going to have both at one point. Well, sorry, they're both at Liverpool now, and I think going to prove that they're at the right club. But for me, like I said, just happy that we have both. Gives Arne the options that we need. Throw in young Rio, Mo, who looked back to himself and brilliant again yesterday. And life's looking pretty good right now as a Liverpool fan. So, my friends, remember, 9 o'clock tonight for the Late Night Agenda. Podcast will be out live at 11 p.m. for everybody tonight. And again, we have lots coming up over the weekend. All roads lead to the Merseyside Derby. Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.